Hey, Dr. Lucas Marchand. We're at the whiteboard today. House Call Chiropractor here today, and I'm going to talk about figuring out how much you should charge. So stay tuned. Oh, it's pretty simple. It's just math, but you have to break down how much you want to make into how many hours you want to work per month, or how much you want to make per month to how many hours you want to work per month. Figuring out an hourly rate, and then itemizing your fee schedule to fit that hourly rate, and factoring in travel time and all that stuff in your technique. Okay, because some people might be spending a whole hour with someone during a house call, where others might be relatively quick, 15-20 minutes or so. Okay, so here we go. So let's say you want to make $20,000 per month. Now that seems like a lot of money, and realistically, you're probably not personally making that in a house call practice. But you have to figure out how much you need to make so that you can pay someone else to do your job and to market that job and to manage that job. You need to think of it in terms of you being an investor, okay? Even if it's just you and your house call practice, which it likely is, you have to think of it in terms of from a business perspective. So 20,000 a month. Likely you got into house calls because you don't want to kill yourself and you don't want to work 60 hours a week. The busiest clinics in the country are probably, when they're with their patients, 35 hours a week, maybe 40. Those are really busy clinics. And then the other 20 or 30 hours a week, they're working on training and marketing, all that stuff. Okay, so let's say we want to work 25 hours a week. So that's 100 hours a month, per month. Okay, so that's going to come out to an hourly rate of $200 per hour. That is what you need to make per hour. Now, how you structure your fee schedule is up to you, but it has to fit that, and it has to fit how long your visits are, right? If you look at other home services, they base their time on, a lot of times, the first hour. So even if you were with the patient for 15 minutes, that's still billed for an hour, because that includes your drive time, that includes the time you're with the patient. I mean, a plumber or a cable person, internet provider, anyone that's coming out to your home, someone to fix your garage, their service call is going to be $100. Okay, and then on top of that, any parts or stuff they need. So at minimum, they're going to be $100. Now, you are a doctor, you're a chiropractor. So you should probably charge at minimum of that. I think you could probably get to the $200 an hour or more, depending on like your mindset around money. So $200 an hour. Now you could just say that's your hourly rate. The problem with time-based fee schedules is, we do have standards of pricing in our industry, and even if you're 100% cash, people occasionally might ask for a super bill, and that insurance provider is going to want an itemized fee schedule, not an hourly rate. So you have to break down your item, and this is what I do. I break it down, itemizing it, and you could go on various websites like chirocode.com, kind of give an idea, because it'll tell you Medicare charges this. You could charge 150% of Medicare. You could bill 200% of Medicare to figure it out. So in this example, maybe a first visit, $200 an hour is going to be $200. That's the new patient exam for me, so 40 minutes for a consultation exam, and then I go ahead and treat. Yeah, that first visit is almost a whole hour. So $200 for the first session maybe, and then maybe you have follow-up sessions that are relatively quick, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Then you divide that by 2, and it's $100 a session, right? And for me, I can realistically only see probably 2 separate house calls in an hour. If I cluster book pretty hard and they're relatively close to each other, and hourly is kind of nice in the sense that it's pretty simple for people. Like, you could see a family of 3 or 4 at $200 an hour. That's actually a pretty good deal for them. Or if you're trying to explain to a company how you bill, and you say, I charge $200 an hour, they can say, okay, can we buy 4 hours of your time, right? But personally, I itemize it all out. But this is how you break down your fee schedule. Figure out how much you want to make, divide by how many hours you want to work each month, and that's your hourly rate. And then you adjust your fees to fit into that hourly rate. Okay. Now remember, you have to charge enough to have in your head. You don't have to hire this, but like you have to have someone that's going to market for this, or excuse me, someone's going to fulfill, like another chiropractor. You're going to need, maybe at least 10% for margin to, market this service. And then you're going to need someone to manage it, right? So you got to think of, and then you got to put a profit margin on top of that. So really, I mean, you have to charge commensurate rates for a private premium service house call. And I think this is how you need to break it down. Because yeah, if you're paying someone else, I mean, that hourly number, $200 an hour, seems like a lot, especially when maybe your clientele's average income's $20 an hour, and you're charging $200. But you have to remember that's not all going to you, and that's not what you're making. That's going to paying any of your bills, your overhead, taxes, a lot of it. So you need to have higher rates, I think, but that's how you would break it down. I hope that helps. Hope that makes sense, and we'll have a great day. Bye.